Are there simple rules for fewer and less? Have you ever found yourself wondering when to use fewer and when to use less? You are not alone. Many people get confused about these two words. Let's break it down in a simple way. The basic rule is straightforward. Use fewer when talking about countable plural nouns. These are items you can count one by one. For example, you would say fewer apples because you can count apples individually. On the other hand, use less with uncountable singular nouns. These are things that cannot be counted individually, like water or sugar. So, you would say less water since you measure water in bulk. To summarize this rule, use fewer for plural countable nouns. Think of fewer cars, fewer mistakes, or fewer people. Use less for singular, uncountable nouns. Examples include less sugar, less time, or less money. Let's look at some practical examples. If you say, there are fewer books on the shelf, that makes sense because books can be counted. If you say, there is less noise in the room, that is also correct since noise cannot be counted individually. However, there are some exceptions to keep in mind. For instance, certain plural nouns related to money, distance, or time are often treated as singular concepts. Even though they are plural in form, they representing a single amount. For example, you would say, she earns less than $50 per hour. Here, dollars is plural but refers to a single amount of money, so less is correct. Another example is with percentages. When you refer to a portion of a whole, you typically use less, even if the noun is plural. For instance, less than 10% of the staff work remotely. In this case, percent is treated as singular. Sometimes you might hear less used with singular countable nouns. For example, one less cookie on the plate is correct because it refers to a single cookie. Historically, less has been used with countable nouns in some contexts. While modern usage often sticks to the countable and uncountable distinction, informal settings may allow for some flexibility. However, in formal writing, it is best to follow the established rules. The word fewer comes from Old English, meaning a smaller number. It always relates to countable items. Meanwhile, less comes from Old English as well, meaning not as much, and relates to quantities that are not counted individually. To illustrate the difference further, consider these sentences. Fewer students attended the lecture today, where students can be counted, and less interest was shown in the topic this time, where interest is uncountable. Another example is, he has less experience than his colleague, as experience cannot be counted individually. Lastly, there are fewer chairs in this room than before, since chairs can be counted. So, the simple rule is to check if the noun is countable or uncountable. If it is countable, use fewer. If it is uncountable, use less. Remember these guidelines, and you will improve your word usage in no time.